Center for Spiritual Living right here in beautiful Fullerton, California. My name is Tomoka Rosas, and I'm a practitioner at this beautiful spiritual community. I love this community. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community, empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. Thank you all for being here in person and also joining us online. Before we get started, I have a few announcements. We have Reverend John Odden here today again. We're so lucky. Yes. And Reverend Bill and Deb will be back next Sunday, well rested, rejuvenated, and full of inspiration to carry us through 2023. One more Sunday for you to submit your slogan for 2023. We'll be voting on it next Sunday. They're listed in the program. I'm not going to take the time to read it now because it's a long list. Spiritual Economics is starting next Sunday after service. There will be 8 Sunday classes throughout the year, 8 months, but each class is set up to be a complete workshop in itself. So you can take one class or as many as you like. But if you wish to get credit for that class, you will have to take at least 6 and then make up the 2. The details are in the program. If you're interested for next Sunday, please sign up. So I have head counts for the materials to be printed out. And Exploring the Roots of Science of Mind class on Wednesday evenings is starting on the 25th of this month. And details are in the program as well. And calling all voting members, our annual meeting and potluck will be on the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd. Please join us. We have a lot of ideas for this year. That's the place where you could voice your opinion, maybe input on fundraisers and workshops that you might be interested in. So please join us for that. Midweek guided meditation on Wednesday evenings will be back starting the 25th at 6 p.m. It goes to 6 to 6:30. This is a great place to ask questions, ask for prayer requests, and all of that. It's a very cozy situation, and starting a regular meditation practice is one of your New Year's resolution. This is a very easy way to get started. Our Unexpected Income Club is going strong, and we are up to $17,360. This is wonderful. This is above and beyond our regular tithing and donation. This represents like 10% of what you found the 2 years or 3 years now, the unexpected income. And it's 10% of that. And we are setting a goal for this year. It's $25,000. So let's look for those unexpected income. All right, that's it for me.
I need to be still. Let God love me. I need to be still. Let God love me. When this whole world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still. Let God love me.
Good morning. Please join me in prayer. Join me in knowing that the absolute divine intelligence, or simply God, is present here and now. I know each one of us is a divine manifestation on this beautiful planet of ours we call Earth. I know that everything is provided to each one of us to create the life of our dreams. We live we move, and we have our being in spirit. I know this is so. I give thanks and blessings for this moment, for this service that I know is already perfect. There are blessings for each of the volunteers that makes this service possible. Beginning with our music director, Tommy, thank you. Michael, our singer, thank you. There are blessings for the Board of Trustees, who their business is the business of the church. There are blessings for the junior church teachers, the Coffee Fellowship, my fellow practitioners, the ushers and the greeters, and special blessings to our visitor today, Reverend John Odden. We are ready to receive his message as we open our hearts and we allow this moment knowing that the service is already perfect. And so it is. Good morning again. My name is Eva Castelo, and my reading is by Jennifer Pichinik. She writes for the Science of Mind magazine. Thoughts alone have the power to release certain neurotransmitters that affect the way our minds and bodies function. When we practice gratitude, dopamine is released and can help improve mood and overall well-being. What this scientific evidence shows is we can literally transform our negative cells to work in more positive ways for us. We are free at any given time to learn how to use our thoughts so they work for us, not against us. Epigenetics teaches that genes can be switched on and off, on or off, depending on our perceptions. If we learn to change our mental habits, we can change the biological reading of our genes and improve our health. While we don't have a magical eraser to change the past, we can change our understanding. We are not bound to our past experiences. While our past may have shaped us in one way or another, we are free to let go of anything that no longer serve us. We may have programmed stories and beliefs about ourselves that may bring about suffering. New thought remind us how we are free to create new beliefs at any moment. Practicing this is what can help us heal and discover our forgotten wholeness. The lens through which we view experiences is more powerful than the experiences themselves. No matter how well rehearsed your life story is, be aware that you can turn it around. We do not want to deceive ourselves of the past, but rather become aware that we are free to change the frame to one that honors the beauty. We may hold on to our sufferings so that we can not set the wonder of this thing called life. We may turn from the endless love encompassing us. We should not be critical of ourselves, but work to allow this newfound awareness to move us to our heart's desires. Let's rediscover our divinity and reconnect to our wholeness. Let's allow our minds to work for us and alter how we experience life right now to our cellular makeup. It is time to embrace our birthright and create a life that is physically, mentally, and spiritually rewarding. Let's release the limiting parts of our past and rise above all perceived negative conditions. We all possess this power within, and finding the truth will heal and transform our lives to prepare us for our wildest destiny. Let's allow the light inside to burn so brightly that it has no choice but to ignite the souls around us. We are free to begin again.
It's in every one of us to be one. Find your heart, open up all your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us. Just remember, it's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing's better. I can see through these tears. I've been realizing that I bought this ticket, but I'm watching only half of the show. But there's scenery and lights, and a cast of thousands who all know what I know. And it's good, 'cause it's so. It's in every one of us to be one. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us, by and by.
We are beginning our new month with the beginning of the Science of Mind. And it's a tradition for the Science of Mind churches to go through the first 4 chapters of the text. And today, Reverend Odden is starting off with the thing itself. So welcome back.
Thank you so much, Tomoko. What a wonderful day. I am Reverend John, and so here we are talking about the thing itself. And as Tomoko said, it's a traditional thing in Science of Mind churches to start out the year and go through the first 4 chapters. And to give a little context of that, before we get into the foundation for mastery, it is the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. So there in something fairly concise, you get a view of how spirituality conspires with humanity to create a world of possibility. Possibility. As we set our hearts, things become possible. So if you're here in a New Thought church, and for some reason, whether it's habit or a rumor, and you're wondering, am I going to be the recipient of getting loved, healed, and inspired? Is that what we're going to do with you, for you, and to you? Nah. And we just simply are going to open the door for the thing itself to dance with you. And if you're open to that dance with the thing itself, all that happens and so much more. You can paint a picture and live a rich and beautiful life. You know, towards that sense of it, and how do you get that sense? It came when I heard Ava share the meditation as we started off the morning, the inspiration at the start of the service. It came as Tommy and Michael shared some music. I know for me, I wandered into It's in Every One of Us too long ago to mention, in Huntington Beach, California, in Orange County. And the first time I heard that, I melted, because I knew I'd been seeking for too long. And suddenly, the words of the song and my visceral reaction to it told me, could it be? Could it be in me, too? Like, if I go looking there, what might I find? So let's go on that journey for a few minutes together this morning. The thing itself. That's where, as Ernest Holmes starts out the textbook, and I prepare my talks referring to a 1997 reprint, which is 980 pages, just shy of 1,000. And in that, the first 10 pages, the thing itself. The first 10 pages. That's what Ernest has to say about the thing itself. So that's pretty tight, pretty concise. And what does he do with that? And like, why a religious science? Indeed. In the foreword, they invited Jean Houston for the 97 reprint to say a few words. A wonderful teacher. And what does she give us? Now, she was writing back in 97. Here we are, blasting open into 2023. It's a quarter century later, I think. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's a little longer than that, isn't it? Oh, boy. How can we deal with a world in the throes of whole system transition, in which everything that we have known is changing at so rapid a pace that we are caught between the dangers that threaten us and the opportunities that beckon us? Educated for the demands of a different time and culture, we are called to be re-educated to use much more of ourselves in meeting the many new challenges that confront us. Any of you had a new challenge in the past several years?
Oh, yes.
We have no choice then but to democratize greatness, what could that be? And utilize the whole continuum of human and divine potential. The thing itself. The science of mind says this is not only possible, it is what is expected of us, expected of each of us. Indeed, it is that for which we have been created. That for which we've been created. So if we're created for that, and these words still ring true, I was hunting for a quote to share, and I was quite amazed that Jean Houston seemed to have a crystal ball, knowing that this wisdom would ring true today in this new year. What do we do? What does it mean to renew, to rebirth? Certainly in New Thought, there's the Christ consciousness and the sense of celebrating that in December, on the 25th. Reinventing, rededicating, and looking at the human and the divine. But what does re-educating mean? There's the opportunity to go to the classes that are being offered, and I like that about New Thought. And the reason about that is not that the answers are in the classes, although they're a pathway. It's so much more fun to be with other like-minded people, because the divine doesn't just speak through printed word. The divine is enacted and interpreted through people. And a good instructor will bring out of all the students the voice of infinite wisdom. And it's being in that environment that has the opportunity to suddenly uncover the message for me. Just like I wandered into some place, was in a shopping mall actually in Huntington Beach that I went into what turned out to be a center for spiritual living in a shopping mall, yay. And I heard it's in every one of us, and like, oh boy, there it is, being sung by people together. It's in the voices of other people that we get the opportunity to triangulate, boost, and accelerate if that's what's in our hearts and that's the pace that we want to have. Or my wife and I rehomed a one-year-old micro mini doodle about a year ago. And once when I was preparing, the little doggie, who will watch a little bit of TV, not so much sports, but country music, she really goes for that, decided that she was interested in absorbing some divine wisdom, and so she used her little doggy teeth and got a little taste of the ancient wisdom of the ages, and if she'd have digested the whole thing, she'd have probably had a bellyache. But you know, you don't really need to read the whole thing. Is there anyone here who has, like, front to back, read the whole thing as a study? Cool. That's a good thing. And I've done it segment-wise, and some of the best classes I've had have been the study of a section. But you don't have to eat the whole thing or read the whole thing, because the thing itself is inside of us. And just being able to be in touch with ourselves and our hearts and being open to that cracks open a pathway. And it's on every one of us as divine beings to choose to walk that path. And it's the same path. It's always guaranteed available constantly to all of us if we take the next step. Sure, we can sit down, we can drop into separation, and we can go into complaint. We're enabled to go to those places. But those are all choices. So just think about, as you imagine, what's the impact of the thing itself? What am I able to do? I would tell you that in my life, I've bumped into different situations commercially and in community projects and had people say, oh, you know, we want to have a nonprofit, but we need to get $100,000 for legal help to do this. And I've been in settings where you actually need really good legal help, and you do need months and $100,000 to start a nonprofit. And I've bumped into other people who've said the same thing, and I've shared with them what I've discovered, that if you can fill out a form, follow instructions, various government agencies are happy to say bless you and set you on your way for less than a few $100. And if you look at organizations out there that are nonprofits where people came together, decided to do something and put it together, it wasn't months and megabucks. It was read and follow instructions. And to some extent, you know, you might argue that the instructions have been around for a long, long time. And it's not always like the 2,500 pages that you have to follow to get there. It can be as simple as the thing itself, 10 pages, or the first 4 chapters. It's not a lot, except the impact is huge, so much more than a lot. Or what is it worthwhile to do? Imagine what's worthwhile. The things that would be worthwhile as you look forward to taking your next step into January, February, and all of 2023 and the run of your life beyond. I know for me, something that popped up, and I'll point to my wife and I'll thank her for that, because it's an amazing thing. We're out investigating prices for land and log cabin kits, and it's pretty cool, and it's possible. You might need to be nimble about where you look, but it's actually possible to make yourself a log cabin in 2023. But it's all part of, again, it's the gifts of the thing itself and being open. Or, you know, what do I choose to do? You might imagine your choice could be limited for what you could do. Question that. Actually, pick up a hammer and smash that thought, because I don't think it's true. If you were to go back to the John Odden of decades back and forecast that on January the 8th of 2023, I'd be giving a New Thought talk with a community of lovely, wonderful people in Fullerton, California, everyone would have said, not a chance. But you know, you can make the choice and take the step. It's possible. If you just make the step, because the thing itself is the real deal, it's in all of us equally, and we can embrace it, we can move into it. That's why spiritual community, to me, is more needed now than ever. One reads some headlines about some churches are less, but spiritual community to me is a strong thing, because when people come together, there's a chance to celebrate, which is easier to do with spirit. I don't do keyboard, and my vocals don't come close to what Michael gives us. There's things you can do together that can be hard to do alone. There's the classes. There's the opportunity to serve. Now you get out there and you serve, and then that dialogue with the divine heart within begins to vibrate and warm up. And it's a new dimension. Or the ability to support group activities, giving and creating. We can do a lot as individual creators, and the past years have shown us that there's all kinds of creators and much creation is possible. When we come together for a purpose, it gets greater. Now, in terms of this thing itself, and is it really as simple as the 10 pages, if we go into the historical Old Testament in Kings, something written to support the faithful with keeping the faith while the Hebrew tribes were in exile, which history tells us was kind of a trial and tribulation. In 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 60, so that all the peoples of the earth may know the Lord is God, and that there is no other. Somewhat what Ernest gave us in the thing itself, what Gene Houston gave us in the overview, that it is the thing and we are created to deliver and act and engage that in this world. And now, given that it's our heritage, what's our choice? Does it feel safer to run away? Can you actually duck destiny? Or is it wiser to embrace and run towards that? What do we find from Ernest Holmes reading on page 33 in that first chapter? God is always God, no matter what the emotional storm or what our subjective situation may be. There is always something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. That has never been violated. We may stumble, but always there is that eternal voice forever whispering in our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings. Do you hear that voice? Do you have a question so pulling on your heartstrings? Are you feeding that? Are you finding some kind of a way to say yes and do something? Do you need to do it all or work the miracle today, tomorrow, this month? No. But I promise you, if you will listen to the voice and do something, magic will start. And what happens when we're knocked down or we're set back? It's a question of getting up, dusting ourselves off, to keep singing and keep creating. Keep creating. And if you're feeling stuck with getting up, dusting yourself off, or stepping into keeping singing, there's practitioners around, Eva and her cohort, who will help with that. Now, the point of community is there's friends and loving, skilled people to help when a boost might be nice. That's why we're here. So, besides perhaps taking a time out, a little holiday or a break, a little vacation, is there any other option than just simply coming back to it all comes from the thing itself? Is there any other option? If we go into the prophets of the Old Testament, Isaiah shares in chapter 44, verse 6, I am the first and the last. Apart from me, there is no God. So that's the prophet saying, apart from the Lord, there is no other God, no other source, no other thing. Or in verse 8, you are my witness. Is there any God besides me? There is no other rock, I know not one. So here we are in a world where I think it's possible that there's claims around of false idols or denial or avoidance that might be a shortcut. I believe it's out there. And I believe also that we have within us the divine voice to discern between our heart, our call, goodness, and noise. I wouldn't say that false idols, denial, or avoidance is like evil. It's just a way to get into separation and lose out on the ride of your life. You'd rather take the ride of your life or watch it roll off down the tracks and sit there twiddling your thumbs. The point is, it's your choice. And you don't need to have a ticket. You just need to breathe and move into it. Isn't that cool? And how about trying to boil this down, especially at moments of getting tired, feeling frustrated or discouraged? Boil it down to simple. Can we do that? What might that be like? A page ahead in the Science of the Mind, still in the thing itself, Ernest gives us this. If we try to find something difficult to grasp, then we shall never grasp it. Because we shall always think of it as being incomprehensible. The mind which we discover within us is the mind which governs everything. This is the thing itself, and we should recognize, what does it recognize what? Its simplicity. You know, if you believe it snuck by or you missed it, slow down, calm down, get into some meditation or whatever. Breathe it in and notice that this is simple stuff. Now, we humans have a lot going on that's built up in how we got to this moment, where sometimes the class, or 1,000 pages, or even 2,500 pages, too much to eat and digest, is what it takes to get our arms around it. But the essence of it, it's so simple. We are each in contact with mind, with spirit, with God. Each of us. The voice is within us. The energy is within us. So what is that? Does that mean we have an obligation to be perfect? I don't think so. Not at all. How about if we all make a commitment this New Year's to show up and be decent about our lives and how we work with the world and the opportunities around us? My suggestions. Give ourselves and others a fair chance. Just give a fair chance. Find resources to live generously. I would predict that through living generously, you will discover yourself living a bit more abundantly. Act on creative inspirations, possibilities, and openings. The divine spirit, the thing itself, has got everything that's out there tiptoeing around, knocking on the door. When spirit knocks on your door, give it a fair chance. And when stalled out, get stuck. Make a move. Take a step. And then another. Don't just allow getting frozen. There's no fun to be had there. So let's dash into 2023 together with love and heart and community. Let that be our way, and vote for a slogan to make it so when you do that next week. Because really, something is rustling around, making a move just inside of us. And it needs to come through us as we listen to our divine song, as we translate our heart into putting divine love into action. So join me as we pray simply. letting go of the complexity and any pain of the past, and just welcoming the beauty of the thing itself, the spirit, the wisdom, the love, the abundance that is within us, serving us as we step forward and say yes to living with fairness, gratitude, and dignity. And know that as we gather in spiritual community, it is our heart, our choice, and our word that makes this beautiful beyond measure. And know that we activate it across the year and across the region as we just simply welcome it and commit it to action, saying together, and so it is. Yes. Thank you.
This is our opportunity to share our abundance. We know that all our good comes from the one source, God. And for this we are grateful. So we bless these tithes, gifts, and offering, knowing that it is given from the central core of who we are. God may manifest on this universe. And we send them forward with no strings and no attachment, no condition to do its works in the world and beyond. And so it is.
There's a new world coming, and it's just around the bend. There's a new world coming. This one's coming to an end. There's a new voice calling. You can hear it if you try, and it's growing stronger with each day that passes by. It's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. There's a new day dawning that belongs to you and me. Yes, a new world's coming, the one we've had visions of, coming in peace, coming in joy, coming in love. There's a new world coming, and it's just around the bend. There's a new world coming. This one's coming to an end. There's a new voice calling. You can hear it if you try, and it's growing stronger with each day that passes by. There's a brand new morning, rising clear and sweet and free. Yes, a new day dawning that belongs to you and me. There's a new world coming, the one we've had visions of, coming in peace, coming in joy, coming in love. Coming in peace, coming in joy, coming in love. Coming in peace, coming in joy, coming in love. Thank you.
Okay, so please rise if you can, if you like, and join me in the closing affirmation. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in my affairs.
It is happening in my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I see it.
I see it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I know it.
I know it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
Thank you, God, in me.
Thank you, God, in me.
So it is.
And so it is.